Christy. I'm a yoga instructor and a massage therapist, and one of my deep passions is working us through trauma in our bodies and how we experience trauma as individuals. The first thing I would like to say is that this is all coming from my experience, one, and two, this is coming from my training through yoga. I'm specifically trained in trauma-sensitive yoga and massage. I've done a lot of reading about trauma. I have seen my own therapists and talked a lot about trauma. I've taken a lot of classes. Am I an expert? In no way am I an expert, except for with my own trauma. So please understand that this is just coming from my experience. You need to do the work for you. That's the most important thing, is that each person experiences trauma or stress in a different way, and so it's very important to seek out experts and seek out the right fit for you. Not everybody is going to be the right fit for you, so it's important to find those individuals that are really going to help you through this. Okay, so that being said, what is trauma? The first thing that I learned in my trauma is that trauma is defined in so many different ways, and it's such a different experience for all of us. And we need to figure out what, why, and when we were traumatized and sort through that. And so when my yoga instructor first brought out this idea of trauma, I was in shock, because I thought, well, I'm not traumatized. That's for somebody that's got issues far beyond what my busy mind is. And so I was really reluctant and a little bit pissed off, in a sense, that somebody would throw those words at me. And so that was probably about 6 years ago. And then this word just kept on coming up. And I thought, all right, well, I'm going to explore this. So then I took this trauma-sensitive yoga class, and then I took a training, and then it started to sink in. Like, there's nothing wrong with people that are traumatized. They just respond differently to situations. And so then I started thinking of it as not just a word or a category or something to put my system in or myself in, but it's an experience, and it's a way that I react differently than most individuals that are normal, right? What's normal? So I started seeing a therapist, and she broke it down like this, because what my first issue seeing it as was that everybody has seen worse than I have, right? We've always got that person, that individual that had a worse childhood than us or a worse experience, and then why would I be traumatized if somebody else has experienced far worse than me? So that was the first thing that I needed to understand, and what my therapist gave me was that when I was growing up, I was in a stressful situation, and I'm not going to explain what my childhood was. It's a personal conversation. I'm not afraid to share that conversation, but for what I'm trying to get out here, it's not important. But for what they find now, that if our nervous system, that fight or flight or that rest and digest system in our body, that experience that we get, that big high if we're scared or we're trying to run away from something, or the opposite, that idea of we're in that rest phase or digest phase and we're just totally chilled out. We can really digest things, we can really sleep, we can really de-stress. That fight or flight in my system was amped up for more than 2 years. And what this research is showing right now is this: if your system is stressed for more than 2 years, it locks into that. And it sees everything as something to be scary. And So anytime that I have uncomfortable situations, or somebody raises their voice, or even if they amp up their system to really get a message through, I see that as aggressive. And I had no idea that I was doing this. It was just what my body responded to, and I didn't know that there was a different way to respond to that. So I don't want to keep you on here too long, but I want to get this idea that yoga, first off, is a great way to start to work through, in a very subtle way, our system and de-stress it. Breath work, teaching ourselves to calm down, teaching ourselves a philosophy that yoga brings to change a perspective, or calm, or acceptance of yourself. So all those things are great. Massage is harder for people that have been traumatized in a lot of ways, because it's very intimate in a way that we have to be one-on-one with people. And I'll tell you, I don't care how long or how comfortable I got with people. It was extremely difficult for me to look people in the eyes. It was extremely difficult for me just to sit straight across for somebody and have a conversation. I would always have to be sideways, or I would have to be across the room a little bit diagonal. So it's taken me a long time to be able to sit and look somebody in the eyes and have a conversation. And this might seem freakish to some of us, but it's just the way that my body responds. And instead of fighting that, now I accept it, and I notice it, and I deal in a different way. That's my experience with it, and yours might be totally different, but what I'm saying is there's ways to work with it, okay? And so massage is very soothing, but it can be very stressful because we're in a new experience. So the best thing that, or the way that I like to work with individuals that have trauma is through Thai massage, because Thai massage, we get to keep our clothes on, and you don't have to worry about unrobing. It can be really light compressions. It can be a lot of holding. It can be exactly what your body needs. And we can find together what that is, because I can do one thing and then we'll notice, like maybe your breath picks up, or you start to fidget and you're not able to just focus and relax. And so we can really explore those things and talk about them. The best thing that you can do is just try to open up, try to talk to people, try to express your feelings, and then start to notice. And I've got some amazing resources for therapists, for acupuncturists, to just kind of unwind this out of your system. It's the best way that I can explain it, because it's taken a long time for me to unwind it and really notice it. And I've got a lot of work to do, but I'm willing to take it on, and I'm not scared of it anymore. So I understand it, and it's not a topic that I don't want to talk about. It's something that I want to get out there more, because a lot of us have this trauma, and we just don't know what to call it, because again, if we compare it to somebody else, we think, oh, they went through a bad experience, I can see why they're traumatized. But then we can't note how we're traumatized, because we see somebody else worse off than us, and then we can't figure out how to be sympathetic to our own needs and help ourselves. So hopefully that helps. And please email me, call me, text me, come in for an appointment, and or even a consultation, a free consultation, to just talk about, you know, what can make your life better. Because believe me, this can be very busy, this mind, and it's possible. It is possible for us to slow it down and not be so jumpy, and not be so quick to respond or respond in a negative way to things. Okay, so good luck. I'm here to help in the best way I can, and I'm also here as a great resource to some amazing people that have helped me. All right, take care.